Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about something that I am really passionate about helping other people with, because this has been a struggle for me, but yet something that I have grown up with my whole life, and that is hospitality. I'm going to try to give you several tips for practicing simple hospitality in your home, being able to get past the idea of having a Pinterest perfect house, how to just really get down to the nitty-gritty practical ways that you can simplify opening up your home so that you can do it more often and you can do it guilt-free and get past the expectations and get to the heart of getting to minister and enjoy company of other people in your home. So let's get started. Okay, so like I mentioned, I grew up with this. My parents are fantastic at hospitality. My entire life, we had people coming in and out of the house all the time, whether that be, friends, family, strangers. They were always an open door. We had lots of exchange students, and they just did it amazingly. And our house never looked Pinterest perfect, ever. My mom had 7 kids. We were all running around. We were all really close together in age, and it was just chaos most of the time. But she really did a good job of showing me how hospitality can be simple. And I went and got married. I had kids of my own, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up my home for others. I see the importance of this. And I found it really hard. I found it hard to get past the expectations that I had put on myself. I found it hard to just find time to do it. And so I really had to struggle with that and wrestle with that. And it's just in the past year that I feel like I've really kind of gotten a handle on the principles that she was teaching us all along. So a big shout out to my parents and my mother in particular, who did a lot of the behind the scenes for the hospitality that our family showed, and want to give her kudos for pretty much all of these tips. There's a few that are mine individually, but a lot of these came from her, and I just want to share them with you guys. While I hope that this video will help you practice simple hospitality, I do want you to know that having people in your home, having other lives involved, is messy work. Building relationships with one another is messy work because we are all sinners in need of God's grace. And when we have more people in our homes, there's going to be inconveniences. There is going to be some sacrificial giving, whether that's financially for your budget, for food, whether that's in the sense that you have to maybe clear some things from your schedule so you have the opportunity to practice hospitality. Maybe it's just the idea that you're going to have to forego your Netflix and just chill in your PJs at night kind of routine and to have other people in your home and have conversations. If you're an introvert, you have to give up some of that privacy. So these are tips to simplify the process of hospitality, but there is a cost to hospitality. I also think there's a big benefit to hospitality. It is very clearly laid out in scripture that we should all Christians should be practicing biblical hospitality. And so I don't view it as an optional thing. It is something we're called to do. Obviously, there may be certain levels or certain people who have a specific gifting in hospitality, but there are so many benefits. We have met so many amazing people. We have gotten to further our relationship and deepen our relationship as we have people in our home. And so I really want to encourage you guys that simple doesn't mean not messy. And but that's okay. Messy is good because there's growth in the mess that we have. And so just kind of getting to a few of the tips, let's get started with that. Okay, tip 1, kind of alluded to it a minute ago, but basically you have to have time for hospitality. So if you want to simplify hospitality, one of the best ways that we have done that this year is by just allotting certain days to hospitality. Obviously, you have flexibility, you can change things up, but I found it was really hard to figure out when could we have so-and-so over if we just had to figure out a date. If we had to figure out and look at our schedule and see what worked, and then we had to talk to them and see what worked for them and try to piece together this really complicated puzzle. It was also hard because I would look at a week, I would have already booked everything else in life for that week, and then try to find a time to squeeze the opportunity to have someone in our home over, to try to squeeze that in the schedule, and that got really complicated. So one of the ways that we have done that as a family is we have just set aside 2 Sundays a month those are our hospitality Sundays. We are striving to have people over at least those 2 Sundays a month. And then during the summer, when things are a little bit less crazy, we have one night during the weekdays that we also have set aside for hospitality and getting together with people. Now, if that doesn't work for somebody, we can most definitely work around that. But I find that it's easier because then I start scheduling things around our hospitality instead of the other way around. It also makes it easier just because it helps my mindset. It helps me to know that, if Tuesday night is the night that we're going to have people over, then I can make sure that on Monday I get to a certain point on the house so it's not stressful and like mad rush cleaning on Tuesday. I can know that the day after we might want to spend a little extra time, take a nap or, do something as a family because maybe we didn't get the family night the night before. Whatever the details are that you need to figure out, it will help you kind of schedule that out. It'll also help you when it comes to like grocery shopping and making sure you have everything you need ahead of time, if you know what days of the week that you are doing that. And again, we are shooting to really try to open up our home more. So we're shooting for at least twice a month. But during the summer, it ends up being about 6 times a month at minimum that we shoot for. And if there's more opportunities, that's fantastic. For you, it might just be once a month. It might just be once a quarter. You might need to start small, and that's okay. But set aside that time now, and then plan your life around it, and you'll find things are simplified quite a bit more. Another tip is to pick a rotation of meals, and maybe you just want to pick one meal, and that's totally fine, but pick 1 to maybe 4 meals max that you want to rotate through, and make those your hosting night meals. So for us, we have tacos, we have grilled chicken because my husband handles that, grilled chicken and veggies, tacos, spaghetti, and like pulled pork sandwiches. That's what we do. And so I just know to have at least the ingredients for one of those on hand at any given point. So if there is an opportunity to open up our home at the last second, I know I've got stuff in my pantry ready to go. But having those meals set aside takes away a lot of the stress for me. I was constantly trying to figure out, what do I make? And will this be impressive? Will they like it? Will they whatever? And so instead I just set aside these 4 meals, and I tried to pick ones that could be adaptable. So for instance, tacos is a great one for people who are gluten-free. Having things like, spaghetti, that's a very kid-friendly meal. And pulled pork is easy again, that can go in the crock pot and can be eaten outside or inside. And again, it's fairly kid-friendly. So I tried to think through some of those things, those factors that might come into play. Obviously, if there's special allergies or something that comes up like that, we'll deal with that on a case-by-case basis. But to simplify the process, just having a list of 1 to 4 meals that you can rotate through is awesome. And the more you make something, the better you get at it. The more you do something like opening your home, the better you're going to get at it. So this is just a way that you can go about doing that. The third thing that I will say for practicing simple hospitality is to have your supplies, your hosting supplies, in one place gathered together, and to have that in a place where you can easily access it, maybe separate if possible from your other kitchenware things, and in an area where it's easy to kind of just do a quick visual inventory to make sure you're not low on any supplies. So what I mean by that is we have a cabinet in our garage, and I can show you guys a picture here. But in our garage is this cabinet, and it has all of our supplies of everything we need for hosting. Paper plates, plastic cups, plastic bowls, spoons, forks, napkins, all sorts of things like that. We have serving platters, we have our pitchers, we have lemonade on hand all the time, lemonade mix on hand all the time. On the top, we have a drink cooler and another cooler as well. So there's lots of different things that are here. We also try to keep like our big serving dishes. We have a big popcorn bowl that we'll pull out when we're hosting something, maybe not a meal, but just for something for a snack. These are great things to do for that. So having this all right there in one place makes it easy for me to access all of it. I usually get it at Sam's Club. For a more cost-effective, simple way to do it is just to try and buy one hosting thing a week. Just insert it into your thing. So, 1 week you might spend, $8 at Sam's Club and get a big thing of paper plates. And you can buy a lot smaller. We do a lot of hosting, so we try to buy from Sam's Club because it's cheaper. But you can do it from Walmart and just get some paper plates. Maybe set aside just a shelf in your kitchen. You may not need a whole cabinet. But keeping those things together makes it so much simpler to pull things out and get ready, and to make sure that you never run out of those things when you get in a pinch. The fourth thing I will say, the fourth and final tip that I would give, is when it comes to your housekeeping, setting aside, your day. If you do a big home reset day like we do and do a big house cleaning day on Saturday, that's great. Maybe Sunday afternoon after church is the perfect time to host, because you've already done your cleaning and you've gotten to rest over the evening, so you're not exhausted from that, but your house is still going to be fairly decent on Sunday. So maybe that's a good time to schedule that day. So think through when you typically do, your big clean for the week, if you do it that way, and maybe try to schedule your hospitality day close to that. If you don't do that though, and even if you do, I want to put out this reminder to you, and this was something my mom taught me, and I saw over and over and over again women be blessed by my mom's philosophy on hospitality, and that was that the house didn't have to be perfect, and she would have it picked up, but would not worry. Sometimes there was boxes in the corner over here, or things, there was kids' toys on the floor, because guess what? Kids pull out toys, and that's okay. And she would still continue to open her door and welcome people into her home, even if her house wasn't perfect. And it was such a blessing to so many women. I just remember growing up hearing women talk about all the time how they appreciated the fact that my mom would be willing to let people see inside their real life, to see the mess, and to still open her up and to open up her home to them. And it made them feel better. It made them feel like, hey, I actually could host. I don't have to have a huge house. I don't have to have a perfect living room set, matching furniture. I don't have to have all of the toys and the clutter cleaned up. It's okay. We need to be practicing hospitality and letting one another into our lives, and showing the love of Christ in that way without having to worry about the stress of having everything perfect. So the fourth tip is just simply to remember that your home is an avenue for ministry, and not to view it as a burden or as an excuse for not opening your home. I understand. I have been there. We are finally to the point where I feel like our house can stay somewhat nice at this point, but that is after years and years and years of not being able to stay on top of the housework at all. I had kids with special needs, lots of appointments. I've talked about that before. I had 4 little ones who were 3, 2, 1, and newborn, guys. Yeah, you do not understand mess till you see that. But we had so much mess, and not letting that stop us in hospitality was hard for me, but I realized that it was an issue of pride in my heart. It was a matter of, I wanted people to think well of me. It wasn't a matter of having it clean enough so that they could be comfortable, because I've yet to meet anybody that I had over when my house was messy who didn't feel comfortable, who wasn't more worried about the relationship than the mess, okay? And so realizing that it was more of an issue with me and my desire to have things look nice so that people would think well of me, or so that they wouldn't think poorly of me, and realizing that I needed to put that aside to be willing to open my home and do the ministry that God was calling me to do. So I hope that has been helpful to you guys. I know that's a quick overview. If you guys want more information about how I do that or have questions, definitely drop them in the comments. I would love to talk to you guys about that. And if you're interested in videos like this on home management, parenting, homeschooling, things like that, I post videos like this every Wednesday and Saturday here on my channel, and I would love if you would take a quick second to subscribe. You can even click the bell notification below to notify you when new videos come out. And share this if it's been helpful. I will look forward to talking to you guys next week. Bye.